Somewhere right now, a manager is rehearsing the same 2-minute feedback conversation for the fourth time in their head, and still hasn't sent the message.
I'm Jake, and honestly, that manager might be Chloe.
I'm Chloe, and yeah, guilty. So I had an intern, Priya, a few months back. Great attitude, genuinely talented, but her reports kept coming in late, every single week.
Did you say anything?
I tried. 3 separate times, actually. I opened a message, started typing something about the deadlines, and deleted the whole thing before sending it.
All 3 times?
All 3. I kept thinking, what if it comes across too harsh? What if she takes it personally? What if it damages the whole relationship?
So what actually happened?
Nothing. I just let it slide and hoped it would fix itself.
Did it?
Of course not. It just kept happening, and honestly, my frustration kept building right along with it. Every week I'd notice it, feel annoyed, and say nothing. Again.
That sounds exhausting, honestly, carrying that every single week.
It really was. And the worst part is, she probably had no idea I was even bothered. So today, 3 parts. First, the actual language for giving feedback that's clear but not harsh.
Second, why this feels so scary in the first place, because it's not really about being mean, it's about something deeper.
And third, how to give feedback that actually sticks, instead of just being said once and forgotten.
And stick around, because we're coming back to Priya. What Chloe finally did surprised me.
This one's honestly a bit embarrassing for me personally, so hopefully it's useful too.
Let's start with the language. First phrase, give constructive feedback. Feedback meant to help someone improve, not just criticize them.
I think a lot of people hear feedback and immediately brace for something negative, even when the word itself is actually neutral.
True, constructive is really doing the heavy lifting in that phrase. It signals the intent right up front.
I want to give you some constructive feedback about the report format, which works so much better when you pair it with the next phrase. Frame it positively, presenting an issue in a way that focuses on improvement, not just what went wrong.
Instead of saying it was bad, try to frame it positively. Here's how we can make it even stronger. Next, come from a good place. Making clear your intention behind the feedback is genuinely to help, not to attack.
I promise this is coming from a good place. I just want you to succeed here. Next phrase. Point out. To specifically identify or mention something, usually a problem or detail.
I wanted to point out a pattern I've noticed with the deadlines. And the last one, address the issue, directly dealing with a problem instead of avoiding it.
It's time we address the issue directly instead of letting it continue. Honestly, which of these do you think is hardest to actually say out loud?
Probably address the issue. It sounds so direct, even though the phrase itself is actually pretty gentle.
That's such a good point. There's one more I want to add. Give someone the benefit of the doubt, assuming good intentions before jumping to criticism.
I gave her the benefit of the doubt at first, assuming she was just overwhelmed, which is honestly exactly what I should have paired with actually saying something, instead of using it as an excuse to stay silent.
Right, that's the trap. Benefit of the doubt is healthy, but it's not a substitute for actually addressing the issue eventually.
How long do you think is reasonable to wait before you actually say something?
Honestly, probably after the second time you notice the same issue. Once is a coincidence, twice is a pattern worth mentioning.
That's a good rule of thumb, actually. Simple enough to actually remember in the moment.
Fair point. Okay, let's lock these 5 in. Word 1. Constructive. Intended to be helpful, aimed at improvement. That was really constructive criticism. Thank you.
Word 2, and guess it first. Feedback delivered with sensitivity and good judgment about how it'll land. What's the word?
Tactful?
Exactly. Tactful. She was very tactful about pointing out the mistake. Word 3. Specific, meaning clear and detailed, not vague.
Vague feedback doesn't help. Try to be specific about what needs to change. Word 4. Actionable, meaning feedback that gives someone something concrete they can actually do.
Make sure your feedback is actionable, not just do better. And word 5, diplomatic, meaning handling sensitive situations carefully and without causing offense.
He found a diplomatic way to bring up the issue without anyone feeling attacked.
And another use. Being diplomatic doesn't mean avoiding the truth, just delivering it carefully.
Good distinction, honestly. Those two things get confused a lot. 5 words, locked in.
All right, I want to point out about the deadline problem.
Drop that about. Just point out the deadline problem. Point out already takes the object directly.
She gave me a very constructive feedback.
Feedback is uncountable. No A. Just, she gave me very constructive feedback.
Last one. This feedback come from a good place.
Subject-verb agreement. This feedback comes from a good place. Not come.
One more. I try to be diplomatic on this situation.
Wrong preposition. Diplomatic about this situation. Not on. Quick scene. Giving feedback on a coworker's presentation that ran way too long.
Hey, I wanted to point out something about yesterday's presentation, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead.
This is coming from a good place. I think the content was great, but it might land better if we trim it down. Maybe frame the second half as a quick summary instead.
That's actually really helpful. Thank you for being direct about it.
I was honestly nervous to bring it up.
Well, it didn't come across as harsh at all. Just useful.
And scene.
But knowing the right words doesn't explain why so many of us would rather say nothing at all. Let's talk about that.
And if this is useful, hit subscribe, because part B gets pretty honest. So Chloe, be honest. What was actually going through your head those 3 times you deleted the message?
Mostly this fear that one comment could undo the entire relationship we'd built. Like she'd suddenly see me as the enemy instead of someone on her side.
Which is a pretty big leap from one comment about deadlines.
It is, when you say it out loud like that. But in the moment, it didn't feel like a leap at all. It felt like the most obvious outcome. Mostly fear that it would rub her the wrong way, meaning it would irritate or offend someone, even unintentionally.
I worried the comment might rub him the wrong way, even though I meant well. There's a bigger pattern behind that fear too. Most of us just want to avoid conflict at almost any cost.
Right. Avoiding disagreement or tension, even when addressing it, would actually help. I avoided conflict for months, and the problem just kept growing, which usually leads to something else. You don't stay silent completely, you sugarcoat it instead.
Making something sound nicer or softer than it really is, to the point where the actual message gets lost. I sugarcoated it so much, she had no idea there was even a problem.
That's such a common trap. The feedback technically happens, but nobody actually understands it. Next, let it slide. Choosing not to address something, letting it pass without comment.
I let it slide the first time, then the second, and by the third, it felt too late to bring up. And the last one, come across as harsh, when your words are perceived as more severe or unkind than you intended.
I was scared of coming across as harsh, so I said nothing instead. Honestly, that's the exact loop I was stuck in with Priya. Scared of being harsh, so I chose complete silence instead, which somehow felt safer.
Except it wasn't actually safer, was it? The problem just kept compounding.
Not even a little. There's one more phrase worth adding. Walk on eggshells. Being extremely careful about what you say, out of fear of upsetting someone.
I felt like I was walking on eggshells every time her name came up in a meeting. Which one hits closest to home for you?
Sugarcoat it, definitely. I do it constantly, and half the time the person has no idea I was even trying to give feedback.
Same, honestly. I've said things so gently that people just thought I was being nice, not correcting anything.
Which defeats the whole purpose. There's actually a pretty simple test for that too. If the person walks away not knowing anything needs to change, it wasn't feedback, it was just a nice comment.
That's a genuinely useful way to check yourself afterward.
Okay, let's lock in the words.
Word 1, hesitant, reluctant or slow to act because of uncertainty. I was hesitant to bring it up at first.
Word 2, confrontation, a direct, often tense, face-to-face disagreement. She avoided confrontation at all costs. Word 3, resentment, meaning a lasting feeling of bitterness, often from unresolved issues.
Unspoken problems eventually turn into resentment. Here's one to guess. Word 4 describes that uncomfortable, tense feeling right before a hard conversation.
Awkwardness.
Exactly, awkwardness. There was a lot of awkwardness before I finally said something. And word 5, discomfort, a broader feeling of unease, physical or emotional.
A little discomfort now is better than a lot of resentment later.
In a second example, there was a real discomfort in the room until she finally spoke up.
Shows it can describe a whole atmosphere, not just a personal feeling. 5 more locked in.
I am hesitant about say something.
Verb form fix. Hesitant about saying something. Gerund after the preposition.
She avoid confrontation whenever possible.
Subject-verb agreement. She avoids confrontation, not avoid.
Last one, I felt discomfort since the meeting.
That since needs present perfect. I felt discomfort since the meeting.
One more, I don't want to rub her in the wrong way.
Small fix. It's rub her the wrong way, not in the wrong way. Fixed phrase, no in.
All right, 2 coworkers talking after work.
Honestly, I've let it slide with one of my team members for way too long now.
What's stopping you from saying something?
I don't want to come across as harsh, so I just keep sugarcoating it every time it comes up.
I get that. I've walked on eggshells with feedback before too.
The problem is, the longer I wait, the more resentment builds on my end.
That part's real. Silence isn't actually neutral, it turns out.
I think I've been avoiding confrontation so hard that I've created a bigger problem than the original one.
Probably. Maybe it's time to just say something small, not the whole thing at once.
And scene. Quick one. Comment a time you avoided giving feedback and regretted it later.
We'll read a bunch of these and react to them soon.
And our community group is linked below if you want to actually practice this with real people.
Now, how do you actually give feedback that sticks?
First phrase, the classic one, the feedback sandwich. Structuring feedback with something positive, then the critique, then another positive, so it's easier to hear.
I used the feedback sandwich, praised her writing, mentioned the deadline issue, then thanked her for her effort. Next, follow up on it, checking back after giving feedback to see if things actually improved.
It's not enough to say it once. You have to follow up on it later. There's a phrase for making sure the conversation goes both ways too. Create space for dialogue.
I tried to create space for dialogue instead of just talking at her. Next, focus on behavior, not character. Critiquing specific actions instead of attacking someone's personality or identity.
Focus on behavior, not character. Say the report was late instead of, you're careless. And the last phrase, check in later. A simple, casual follow-up to see how someone's doing after a hard conversation.
I checked in later that week just to see how she was feeling about it. Which one do you think actually matters most, long term?
Honestly, follow up on it. A single conversation rarely fixes anything. It's the follow-through that actually changes behavior.
Same. One conversation plants the seed, but the follow-up is what actually grows it.
There's one more I want to add. Keep the door open. Letting someone know they can come back and talk more, even after the initial feedback.
I ended by keeping the door open, told her to come to me anytime if something felt unclear.
That last part matters more than people realize. It turns feedback from a one-time event into an ongoing relationship.
Which honestly makes the whole thing feel less like a confrontation and more like an actual conversation.
Okay, last 5 words. Word 1, rapport. A sense of mutual understanding and comfort between people. Good rapport makes hard conversations so much easier.
Word 2, receptive, meaning open and willing to consider new ideas or feedback. She was really receptive to the feedback, actually. Word 3, accountability, meaning taking responsibility for your own actions or results.
Feedback works better when there's real accountability on both sides. Here's one to guess. Word 4 is what feedback needs to actually be understood correctly. No confusion.
Clarity?
Exactly. Clarity. Clarity matters more than being gentle, honestly. And word 5, trust. A firm belief in someone's reliability or good intentions.
Trust is what makes people actually receptive to feedback in the first place.
And one more. Once trust is broken, even good feedback gets ignored.
Which is honestly a great reason to build it before you need it. 15 words today.
You should to follow up on it next week.
No to after should. You should follow up on it next week.
She gave me a lot of trusts.
Trust is uncountable. No trusts. Just, she gave me a lot of trust.
Last one. I am building rapport since we started working together.
Present perfect continuous fits better. I've been building rapport since we started working together.
One more. She was very receptive on my feedback.
Wrong preposition. Receptive to my feedback, not on.
Last scene. I'm mentoring you before your first hard feedback conversation.
I'm honestly nervous. What if it goes badly?
Use the feedback sandwich. Focus on behavior, not character. And remember to follow up on it after.
What if they get defensive?
Then you create space for dialogue instead of pushing harder. Let them respond.
That actually helps. Okay, I think I can do this.
And remember, one hard conversation builds rapport. It doesn't destroy it.
Good to remember, honestly.
And scene. Now let's go back to Priya.
So what did you actually end up doing?
I finally just sat down with her, face to face, no more deleted drafts. Started with something genuine. Told her how much I valued her ideas and effort on the team.
The sandwich, basically.
Exactly. Then I pointed out the pattern directly, said the reports were consistently late, and it was creating problems downstream for the rest of the team. Framed it around behavior, not her as a person.
How'd she take it?
Better than I expected, honestly. Turns out she didn't even realize how much it was affecting other people. She thought she just had a little buffer built in.
So the silence had actually been hiding useful information.
Completely. Turns out she was actually pretty receptive once I finally said something specific instead of nothing at all.
Which makes sense. Vague silence gives someone nothing to work with.
Exactly. And I ended by keeping the door open, telling her to come to me if anything about the timeline felt unrealistic.
Did you follow up on it?
I did, about a week later. Just a quick check-in, nothing dramatic, and the reports have been on time ever since.
All from one conversation you'd been avoiding for months.
All from one conversation. The awkwardness lasted maybe 5 minutes. The relief lasted a lot longer than that.
Which is honestly the thing nobody tells you. The anticipation is almost always worse than the actual conversation.
Single time. I wish I'd known that before I deleted 3 drafts.
At least now you know for next time, whoever that ends up being.
Hopefully nobody, for a while. But yeah, next time I won't wait 3 drafts. Quick recap. Part A gave us the language for giving feedback clearly. Give constructive feedback, frame it positively, come from a good place, point out, address the issue.
Part B was about why it feels so scary, rubbing someone the wrong way, avoiding conflict, sugarcoating it, letting it slide, coming across as harsh.
And Part C was about making feedback actually stick. The feedback sandwich, following up on it, creating space for dialogue, focusing on behavior not character, and checking in later.
Next time, we're keeping things lighter, talking about weekend plans in English, perfect for that classic, "What did you get up to?" conversation.
That one's going to feel like a nice breather after this one.
And seriously, if there's a conversation you've been putting off, this might be your sign to just send it.
If this helped, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been avoiding a hard conversation too.
See you in the next one.
Hi everyone!
Bye!